All right, folks. So I wasn't planning to do another one of these so fast, but this last week has been a little stupid and screwed up between a whole bunch of other shit, politics, local politics, and that's a whole big old mess. But as a wise man once said, I ain't got time for this bullshit. So we're gonna move on into
I ain't
things that you
got time to
people
bleed.
actually want to hear, which is some more gaming bullshit.
Oh,
So
goody.
let's start with our favorite punching bag lately, the whole Nintendo Switch 2 thing, because more has come
Oh,
out about that. So, some of you may have heard. We'll start with the the hardware, and then we'll move on to a software issue.
okay.
The whole debacle about the C button on the new Nintendo
Oh,
Switch controller.
at least
What
people
did
aren't
you hear
complaining
about that?
too much about the PS4 level of power, which I'm not too concerned with.
You know,
But from
for
what
the
I've
last
heard,
several generations, Nintendo's been at least a
they're
console
always
generation behind
behind.
in tech,
But
so that's
whatever.
whatever.
It's a handheld as well.
Yeah.
That's not to excuse the one of the most profitable companies in the world, but
Yeah,
what I've heard
well,
about the C button thing is that you have to have a subscription, and that if you touch it, it will prompt you to get a subscription. So another don't be poor, poor boy.
yeah. Doug Bowser is really proving his EA thoroughbred paperwork. I'll tell you that. Um,
Nintendo, the friendly company that you have nostalgia for.
and then you hired a fucking douchebag from EA to manage the U.S.
No,
branch.
I think he
Brilliantly
fits
played.
really well with Nintendo from all the things I'm aware
Oh
about.
well, these days he certainly fucking does.
Oh,
Anyway,
he'd fit into the 80s and 90s. Trust
but
me.
anyway, back in the back into the hardware thing.
Yeah,
There is going to be a chat service, Nintendo's own like live chat thing.
which
And
is just
look,
Discord.
I will say, okay, I get it. You have to be online to use the live chat. Sure, I'm not fucking stupid. I use live chat on a couple of different things. The issue I have here is with the fact the tech is designed to be as intrusive and obnoxious as possible if you don't have the thing they want you to have.
Yeah,
Because if you're playing some game single player, like somebody, I don't remember who, it might have been 8-Bit Eric, was using the example of you're playing Mario Kart or something, and you're really into it, and your thumb slips off the stick because the C button's right there by the stick, and you happen to bump the C button, it's going to botch your game, bring up that menu, and then you're gonna have to fiddle with it to get the menu to go away because you're not getting the chat right
well,
now.
do you know what it's called when you do something like that?
Coercion.
No, it's called intrusive design.
Well, I mean, there's that, but my point being, yeah,
Intrusive design
they
is
deliberately
something.
designed it this way.
So, any other system would just have you click something like your options or your select,
Mm-hmm.
go into a thing, and then pick your voice, right? Nintendo designed it so that there's a button that is designed to be intrusive on your experience because they know and they guarantee you they product tested it to see if people accidentally hit the button during the gameplay. And then
Mm-hmm.
they tested to see if that aggravation would make a person more likely to sign up. And they said between the people it pisses off and makes stop playing, the people who just put up with the inconvenience and the people who will sign up because of it, well, they probably saw that that was a higher percentage.
More than
So
likely.
yeah,
So there's that.
it's
Go
it's
ahead.
a nasty form of design.
So there's that stupidity. And then if you remember back in the day, if you've been around the whole Nintendo scene a while, Reggie, you will know him by name if you're a Nintendo person.
He was too
He
good for
had
Nintendo.
Yeah, back when they released the Wii, he had to push to get them to take that Wii Sports program and have it be a pack-in with the Wii release. Because
Was
he's
it
like,
Wii
look,
Sport? Yeah, it was Wii
it was Wii
Sports, not Wii
Sports. He's like,
Fitness.
you can't put out a console like this and not have some introductory software. He's like, it's a really
Yeah,
bad idea.
it's new technology. You got to introduce people, and like computers, you get pack-in
Yeah.
product.
And with Reggie gone, of course, Mr. Bowser Yowzer decides that he needs to go, oh, yeah, so that introductory software, which is so stupid I can't even be bothered to remember what the fuck it's called, yeah, we're going to charge you $10 for that.
ten
Oh, come on,
dollars.
but we think that $10 is a very reasonable price for the nature of this software.
Well, and
Or
anybody
I
with
think he called it this experience, because of course he did.
Well, he's EA to the bone. Or is it
Yeah.
Activision? I can't remember.
I
They all
think he's
blend into one another.
Bowser. I'm pretty sure was EA.
But this is one of those things where they would have taken the L on this. So this is how I would have switched into it. When they would have said that, and we were like, we're
Switched in.
getting, yeah, we're getting completely PR nightmare. So what we're gonna do is go. We think this game is worth this much money, but
Hmm.
you know what? You're gonna get it packed in for free.
That would have
You
been a lot better
upsell.
PR. Could have been, oh yeah, we find this is a piece of software that if we were to like say upload it digitally for availability, we think it'd be worth about $10. But we're offering it as a pack in for your new Switch 2, so
You're
you can familiarize yourself with the hardware and the software.
because what you're trying to say is you got a premium experience
They
that's
want you
worth
want to make it
this
look like a
much
good
money,
value, yeah.
and then people go, "I'm getting a deal." But instead, they're going money, and yeah, this is the problem with a lot of money or companies is they're trying to squeeze every cent out of a
It's the
market
whole
that has
issue.
not.
It's the whole issue with doing your shit publicly traded because then you're beholden to the whims of not only your greedy executives but your greedy ass shareholders. So
No,
all they care about is that you
investors.
make more and more money, more money, more money all the time, and they don't care how you make it. If your
Well,
company goes under, they don't care as long as they got their money.
and the problem ends up being is as you try to squeeze every penny out of someone, they start making decisions about every penny.
And
And
now you have an audience who's more hostile about spending their money.
and I'm gonna say anyone who uses the oh god, inflation argument is either
Mm.
malicious or ignorant.
And
I'm gonna
also,
be
don't try to use the tariffs because if you're talking about the U.S. tariffs, there's been a pause put on anything that involves fucking computers and phones
no,
as
they
far
can't
as the
even make that
tariffs.
argument. Nintendo's already confirmed that they
Oh,
picked that
yeah.
price, and I could have told you
They
they picked
confirmed
that
that that
price.
price was selected. Bowser himself said that they decided on that price before the tariffs became an
I
issue.
guarantee you, a year ago, when they started production, even they were probably spitballing their price and then said, "Well, we're ideally we want this,"
More than
but
likely.
this is the thing. At the end of the day, is you're trying to sell more and more of these like little extras on top of it while increasing the price of your system and your games, then having all of this extra tax like attached to it. At the same
And all the
time,
other bad decisions like the digital only game
at the
availability.
same time, the real buying power, the most important real thing, not the numbers, the buying power of the average American home, and I believe the average like European home have either stayed the same since the
Or gotten
1960s
lower.
or lowered.
Considerably lower in
So
some cases.
you're asking for more money from people who haven't really seen an increase in their ability to
Yeah,
put it out. So
their
like, there's
buying
more
power has decreased or is stagnant.
with all of these subscriptions and little extras and all of these things that they keep parting out more and more features into subscriptions. You're seeing people's true buying power. They're being reminded just how little of it they've actually got. So
Oh,
that's a
but
major
we're not
problem.
even done. Just wait, there's more.
Oh no.
Let's talk about that issue that we didn't cover too much with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild remaster.
Oh, damn it. Ah, it's an old game. Let's charge like it's a
So
brand new one.
let's talk number one. We know that Nintendo prices, they never let the prices go down to much of a degree. It's always the third, the secondhand sellers that sell the stuff for less after a while, like they hit store shelves.
And
Nintendo
depending.
never lowers their prices.
It's stores
Breath
taking the
of the
hit.
Wild is now 8 fucking years old. 8 years old.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a minute. It's a Switch
Oh,
game.
I
Came out eight
completely
years
get it.
ago. Well, that's more for the audience. They are charging you $70 for the base edition of a
Mm-hmm.
remaster of an 8-year-old game
And
that
that's
just
for
has the Switch
physical?
2 upgrades. That's for physical edition.
Okay.
$70. It includes as a remaster exactly none of the DLC. None of it at all.
Okay, so let me get this. So we got no DLC. The only improvement is effectively it's on better hardware and
Yeah,
I've had a
so
couple
it's They've
that's
streamlined
the
it and
cleanups.
upgraded it to run on the more efficient hardware. Blah 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 blah.
It has seen a $10 increase in price because what Switch
Yeah,
games were
yeah. It was about $60
$60.
before, so they jumped up $10. But here's the kicker.
So it
And
got
it's,
more
wait.
expensive, less
Eight
features.
8-year-old set of DLC. They're asking $20 for it.
So real price is $90.
$90 if you want the complete
So
experience
it's
of an
in
8-year-old
line
game.
with what Nintendo refers to as a premium first party
Their
experience.
premium value experience
So you're
bullshit. Yeah,
paying almost $100 for a
an
game
8-year-old game
that's 8
on
years
previous
old.
gen hardware.
You know what I would have done to really get more goodwill? Because, I believe that companies need to maintain a friendly relationship with their customers.
Probably be a good
I
idea.
would have sold this DLC included with all of the extra features, $40. And I
Well,
still think that's too much.
given
But
how many things we've seen come out for around $40 when they release a remaster, it's ridiculous. But here's another thing.
I think the problem is that you got too many people in Nintendo who all agree, and there's no one like we'll use Reggie as example.
Yeah.
No one who's going, that's a stupid idea. We need
Well,
to actually not do all this dumb bullshit.
slow down. Here's another thing.
Oh no.
The upgrades. Let's say you already own Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
The upgrades for those, the Switch 2 upgrades, are $10.
Oh god.
This is considering that I've only encountered one game, and it was from, I think, a fairly greedy company or a very small company that needed the money.
And I'm not going to.
Hold on, wait. So I go on my PS5, right? Say what you want about Sony, because their in-house game people are retarded.
I was actually going to bring that up.
I go on PS5. Gungrave Gore costed me zilch to upgrade to the PS5 edition.
Yeah, the
Evil
PS5
West cost me zero.
Generally
PS5
are
upgrades, yeah.
free?
Yeah. Fire Team, Gungrave Gore, Evil West, most games I've gone to upgrade to the PS5 version have not cost me shit. They're free. Okay, Nintendo, what the fuck?
Oh, it's a lack of goodwill, and I again come back to the fact it's a boardroom that all agrees. Let's milk the customers more, and not someone saying that's a stupid idea. Stop being stupid. We need to maintain our customers and have goodwill. But speaking of stupid things involving Sony.
Yeah. So, for any of you old schoolers here who happen to remember that there were things that came out from Bungie before Halo, back in the day we had two little games, one which unfortunately we'll never see again called Oni, which was a really good third-person brawler shooter, and a little first-person shooter game called Marathon.
Yepper.
Where you were this, kind of faceless space marine kind of guy fighting aliens.
Yep. In fact, I just took time last night to refamiliarize myself with both the first and second of those games.
Mm-hmm. So, recently, there was a bit of a big thing made because Bungie did the whole thing. We got away from our evil corporate overlords. We're now our own independent company. And I will remind you that promptly after they did that, Bungie completely butt-fucked a good chunk of their customers by screwing up Destiny completely, locking shit behind paywalls, locking shit back completely that was previously accessible. All you Bungie players out there know what I'm talking about. I got a couple of friends who used to play, but the fucking Destiny before they fucked it all up. But anyway, so big deal about Marathon coming out, and then the trailers start coming out, early release trailers, and I'm gonna say number one, I'm sorry, some people seem to like them. Those character designs are dog shit. I know they're supposed to be robot bodies and shit, but the runners, none of the runner designs look very interesting. They're weird and clunky looking. I don't know. I don't really like any of the designs so far.
They look like androgynous fashion dolls. You know those ones that in some of the fashion shows where they'd exhibit like a dress or something.
Oh, you mean
and
like the weird fashion mannequin things?
Yeah, like they're not the ones that you'd see normally in a store, but there's some areas where they would use these weird white on black ones, and they'd have weird proportion.
Yeah.
They look really weird and just kind of like off-putting. That's what they remind me of.
They do. And somebody else who was in the comments noted, I look at the enemies and all I see are these big clunky guys in robot suits and drones. It's weird that there are no aliens in the game that was about fighting aliens.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was actually when I heard they were going to make a marathon game before I knew anything else, I said, that would be an interesting thing to see explored because it was locked on Macintosh for the most part. It's an
Yeah.
interesting kind of shooter. It's a little Doomish, but a lot of shooters were Doomish in the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah, there were 10
Um,
billion Doom clones according to a lot of outlets
and I
back
was
in the
like,
day.
you know what, this would be nice. I'd like to see something that come up and actually give Halo something to compete
Yeah, because
against.
we haven't seen a good, straight up sci-fi first-person shooter that wasn't doing stupid shit like Concord in forever. And
Then
then
I
we get
heard
this.
it's a battle
Oh wait, I
royale.
was getting there because now it's an extraction shooter.
Oh god.
Like we don't have Tarkov and 5 billion other extraction shooters on PC already. But whatever,
Yeah.
I'll get to fucking that. But yeah, the designs look really, really weird and clunky and not at all marathon. The trailer was pretty underwhelming. Like one commenter said, it's funny that every weapon seems to either be a shotgun or an SMG.
Oh god, it's freaking Battlefield and Call of Duty.
And the other issue being, well, before I get into the real meat behind the stupidity, is they had this big story trailer that got some people interested, and then
Yeah,
they reveal it is an always online,
extraction
only,
shooter.
yeah, extraction, multiplayer only
And
shooter, and
it
there is
costs.
no campaign. There is no
Ex-
single player component. There is no campaign mode, and it is a paid in a free to play shooter world at this point. Most shooters, first or third, that have online components are free to play. Now, First Descendant, same way, and that's one that I play myself. Free to play. Yeah, you pay for shit if you want to, but the game itself costs nothing. And
this
they're
was
expecting what they said premium cost. Players will be expected to pay a premium cost for, but then somebody in the thing in the article is like, but it'll be worth it. Will it?
will it? I don't
Can you
like
prove that?
extraction
Because so
shooters.
far, yeah, number one, I don't like extraction shooters. When I heard you talking about Marathon, I wanted a, single player campaign experience, like Marathon, fucking
Well,
maybe.
one of my things was is when I heard about it, it was like it's a chance to explore this world that I never really got to experience outside of seeing it on occasion and knowing it existed.
Yeah.
So I was open to that. And then I was like, man, I could really go for a Halo style campaign
Mm-hmm.
and then have some multiplayer there for when I'm done with the main campaign. And maybe that'll turn into its own thing. And then
Yeah,
they did
exactly.
this, and I'm like, this is dead in the water. This is deader than Elvis.
It's deader than Anthem.
Oh, I wonder if it'll lose as much money.
It
And
might.
I guess there's one other thing we can talk about when
Oh,
it
wait,
comes
wait,
to
I'm not done. See, because there's a particular individual behind some of this
oh
on this
no,
marathon thing, and I won't say his name, but I'll put it on the screen
the
because
Pitbull Daddy.
I'm about to blow this motherfucker up.
Okay,
So
well, don't say it like that. You mean you're gonna expose him, right? Well, he might enjoy that.
yeah, let's don't even go there.
We're
So
just
we
gonna
got
talk about the guy.
this guy who will be on the screen here momentarily. He is one of the people in, let's say, a position of some authority on Marathon. Two of the others look like a couple of Karens who I'm not even going to get into because people have talked about them already.
Is there a wine drinking mini game?
Oh, God, I hope not. But this motherfucker, he's out there trumpeting all this bullshit. One of them will be visible in his post, and he's got this thing on there, Pokemon Master, Pitbull Daddy. That shit I don't mind. I don't even mind the dude
Kind of
saying he's
weird,
I
but
don't even mind the
okay.
dude going, hey, I'm gay as fuck. Hey, okay,
So
do
what?
what you want to do, man. I don't care. But it's the trans rights, human rights bullshit, the BLM tab on his fucking profile.
So he's pro-Marxist.
And then there's a little something on there that Smash JT noted this, but the way he pronounced it, I have a strong notion
Oh
he doesn't
no.
know what it means. Because on the end of this guy's little profile, it says Chinga la migra. Yeah, well,
Uh,
I know what that means, you smarmy son of a bitch. And I'm sorry. Right about now is probably not the best time, except for with your leftist friends, to go fuck immigration. the migrant department. Now you are making really, really, really telling decisions in your social media posts, buddy.
Well, the client class never likes it when people talk about being clients.
And this is the guy who they have, one of the people in charge of fucking this game, which already looks bad. And then you look at the character designs when this guy's screaming about trans rights, and the androgyny just hits even harder.
Let me put it like this: like, I don't care for like 90% of what he's saying,
Well, it's
but
like,
I think it's a character test.
yeah,
This is a
let's,
person who doesn't respect the country he's in,
yeah.
doesn't like a whole bunch of people, and he's more interested in virtue signaling than actually going, "Yeah, I might be gay, I might be a
Well,
Pokemon master, and here's a good
there's
product."
hold on. There's an even more important element to this, which again, Smash JT and I think 8-Bit Eric made a brought up, and Doctor Disaster also mentioned it. The problem is these things would not be an issue if there were any confidence that they would not force them into the game. The
Oh,
problem is
they're gonna go in the game.
every time we've had somebody with all this happy hoo-ha bullshit on their profile, they inevitably, when they're in any kind of a position of authority, they force this shit into the game, and the game always suffers for its inclusion. Concord, look,
This is the equivalent of a guy walking into a company that has a shirt that says "I hate my boss."
Marathon is being called the next Concord for good reason. Because the designs are already fucking funky and weird, and then you see the reveals about these employees in senior positions,
Yep.
and the character
Thank
designs
our
start to make
neighbors.
so much more sense. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, it's hard for me to not assume this is going to be the next Concord when you have people flaunting this kind of weird shit in their social media and complaining at people before the game even releases.
Well, this is a problem when you have people who are more worried about their politics than their job. You're going to get this,
Uh,
and this is just a sign. I don't care if someone's gay or a Pokemon master or into pit bulls, though I do kind of care in that regard because if you don't raise them right, they can be a problem for people. But
Generally
the
speaking, I
rest
will
of it is
say,
all virtue signaling
yeah,
trash, and we know it. And the
as
problem
an
is,
as an amusing aside, I'll say usually somebody who calls himself a pit bull daddy usually takes pretty good care of their dogs. I'll at least say
no,
that much.
well, I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying that's one thing that would make me be like, okay, I need to see how this person's handling it because pit
Yeah,
bulls can be
they
dangerous.
are dangerous
But
dogs, but yeah,
that's all virtue signaling nonsense. It means
yeah.
nothing to this person,
I mean,
and
and then
it's insulting to people.
especially in the era where BLM has been called out by most organizations now as the scam that it was. It was being run by a couple of assholes looking to farm money from people.
Also, I think it's insulting because my family all immigrated the right way. What did your family
Yeah.
do? Why are you so concerned, Mr. Man?
Why are you so anti-immigration? Is there
But
something you want to tell people? But yeah,
I think
whatever.
there's that's two Sony fuck ups, related fuck ups.
Yeah,
So
pretty
there's a
much.
third one.
I'm getting to it. So let's talk about again
The Blast of Us.
The Last of Us 2 and Mr. Druckmann.
Well, the
This
price
motherfucker.
is
The the
absolutely insane.
the rock star fucking genius who drove an actual very, very well known and well respected female writer, and shame on you, Mr. Equality, because
Equality was about getting a doormat into the boss position and
I
taking all the
believe
credit.
I believe in a certain old song, Alanis Morissette would have referred to as a Mr. Duplicity, I think.
He's pretty good at it. Remember, he was really all about having two underage girls make out. It's
I don't
not.
even want to talk about that fucking DLC. God
So
help me, that was terrible.
let's be perfectly honest. I don't care about The Last of Us. Most people don't care about The Last of Us.
It's
And the
over.
fact that they put out a collector's edition and then a digital version, a normal version of this collection at the prices that they did.
So Druckmann and apparently ND, they really think that The Last of Us is just the next Skyrim. Because these motherfuckers just keep trying to repackage and resell this shit. And this is considering that most people liked The Last of Us, and then they put out that remaster and fucked a bunch of things up and annoyed the hell out of the people who even liked the first game.
Yeah. It's a series that doesn't need to be a
And
series.
The Last of Us
And
2, after all the critic masturbation and the shilling and all that crap, turned out to be pretty forgettable to most fucking people now that you look back on it.
it's a
Nobody
dead
liked the fact that they
franchise.
killed Joel. Nobody liked the fact they turned Ellie into like a huge bitch for no reason.
You know,
All the stupid subtext.
this is the thing at the end of the day. Just ignoring all that. Sony let Naughty Dog price this game at a collection
Full
at these
retail
prices,
price.
like a ridiculous price for a normal edition that's only digital,
Like
and
I've
then
got
a
the image
collector's
on
edition at
Yeah,
a hundred dollars.
I've got the image on the screen, and it's stupid. It's not worth that. I'm sorry. Druckmann's ego does not determine the value of your product,
I
assholes.
don't know what's going on at Sony, but man, they should
Just
have
fucking
been like
stop it.
immediately drop those prices, and instead they give the moment where people could give them any positive press,
My
which I'm
assumption,
not going to give them.
this is not even necessarily being generous, but my assumption is, considering all the other shit that has happened at Sony, all the live service games that just recently got confirmed to be canceled, all the shit that has vanished off of their development plate, with that new Japanese CEO in full complete charge again, I'm going to assume there's so much having to be done that this is something he either wasn't paying attention to or he let it slide because he thought there was maybe a chance it would make some money while he was trying to unfuck all this other stupid shit he had to cancel.
It
I
was
don't know.
bad call, whoever let it go,
Yes, it was a
because
bad call,
they
whoever let
should
it
have
slide.
let Nintendo continue getting beat across the head instead of jumping in front of Nintendo and go, let us take the beating for you. But, hey, there you go, everybody.
But
There's
we
a
all know, and as I said in my last video, I'm not exactly a Sony corporate fan. I have the console because it's convenient to me and it has the games I want to play on it.
yeah,
Sony has made plenty of stupid decisions. It's just that this last month it's kind of been Nintendo's turn to be a fucking
criticize
moron.
all of them so they get better
Yes.
for the customer, because ultimately what I care about, and I believe you do too, Farv, is that the customer can get choices, make the best choice that fits them, and get the best bang for their dollar.
That's exactly it.
And unfortunately, I can't clone myself and put myself in the executive positions of every one of these corporations and start smacking these people over the heads.
And I'm not even going to get into the GTA 6 thing till after that comes out.
Oh, we'll
But
wait for
as
that.
but as 8-bit Eric said a day or so ago, there's a chance that with all this uproar going on about the $80 price tag on Mario Kart World and the way people are responding to it, somebody at Rockstar may at least be side-eyeing this situation, wondering if that 100 fucking dollar price tag on GTA 6 is still a good idea or not.
I hate to break it to
But
people,
it's
but
probably not going to
if you
happen.
have that hope, then I would suggest you go look at the current team heading Rockstar. It's not
It's
going to
not a pretty
happen.
picture at
It's going to
all.
get worse. But hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. And if you got this far, tomatoes, squash, tacos. And you have a wonderful day, everybody.
Coincidentally, I don't know what the fuck he just said, but see y'all later.
Subscribe.
Bye.